Unlike COVID-19, we're back. Welcome to the Let's Not Do This podcast. The Big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside two of the three unwise men. Our scraggly friend still is on suspension. We'll have more updates on that at a later date. Sitting to my right, wearing a lovely Home Team Grill shirt here. He probably stole out of the back of the restaurant. Ryan Dickerson, how are you, sir?
Doing well. Had a adventurous weekend of sports betting. I guess we'll cover our picks here later, but it was a good weekend.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one losing money on second division Ukrainian soccer.
Well,
you were.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe.
If you're not Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And our very own Vladimir Zelensky, Scotty Too Hottie, how are you? You know, each time I see him on TV now, I just think, oh, that's Scotty. Did you show up at people's houses asking for millions of dollars or billions of dollars?
Is he rich?
I think his country's rich now, probably. I don't want to get into that discussion, probably. But
I'll take his money.
Yeah. Well, maybe you two can acquire some more tanks and missiles. And you know what? You would be a good ruler of a small third world country.
Yeah, man, I'll take it.
I feel like you would be benevolent, pretty nice to your people. But then, you need someone like me to rule with an iron fist. Like the Minister of Defense, like the secret police, like the Stasi.
You would not be in my cabinet anywhere.
God damn it! What is Ryan, the Secretary of Antiquated Records or something like that? He's got an abacus.
That sounds good.
Hey.
Yeah.
Antiquated records.
Your face will be on a wanted poster.
Oh, I thought you were going to say money.
No.
Dude, you put me on the whatever you want to call your $20 bill over there.
20?
Yeah.
You think you'd be on a 20?
Yeah, because that's one of the most widely circulated bills. A lot of people use that. I want people to see this face, to be out there.
You'll be on the $2 bill.
Oh, so I'm very rare. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm like,
but not seen as much. Though.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the $2 bill, you know what the Clemson fans do, right?
No, I don't.
Those hillbillies like to spend $2 bills in all the towns that they go to, so it shows the influx of the Clemson economy when they go to road games.
I think I did hear something about that.
Yeah.
It's a very random fact that you.
Yeah.
I know lots of things about lots of weird things, and that Clemson Colt, it's one of the weirdest things that I do know about. Just little old Clemson, as Dabo says. Yeah.
All right, Dabo.
All right. Well, we'll get to Clemson in a little bit, most likely, as we talk a little college football. But let's talk a little National Football League. Was it week 4 in the books?
4 already.
I know.
4.
It just started.
Quarter of the season.
I know.
Almost a quarter of the season.
It always does that.
Well, the New York Giants are probably wishing that it was week 16 or 17 so they could go play some golf and be done with this damn thing. You guys watched the Seahawks put them out of their misery last night?
Yeah. When I see Daniel Jones, I just envision him that gif from, was it Zombieland, when Woody Harrelson's, crying with money?
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Well, it's like a gif with Woody Harrelson. He's he'll take, a dollar bill, and he's, wiping his tears or whatever. That's what I see him as, because, he got his money, and, he's not – it was a waste of money.
Yeah, last night I felt like it was his fault, but it wasn't his fault. When you get sacked 10 times, wherever the hell it was last night. 11 times. Yeah. Well, I think one was actually Paris Campbell. One of the receivers got sacked on a wide receiver pass, flanker pass.
They had 5 sacks in the first 3 games, and they got 11 last night.
I just think the Giants line is just garbage. I know Andrew Thomas is out, and I think their center got nicked up. The rookie center they have, I believe, I think his name is Schmitz.
Yeah, Schmitz and the tight end Bellinger got hurt on the tush push.
Right. Which is everybody's doing now.
They failed at the tush push. That tells you everything right there.
That is bad.
Yeah. And no Saquon. The line's dinged up.
Yeah,
the line was bad, but some of them plays, he actually had protection, and he still held onto the ball. It's how bad your line is. What are you doing?
If you look at his numbers, he was, I want to say he was 23 for 28 last night. His numbers look not terrible. It wasn't God, you weren't accurate at all. He just made bad mistakes. He was 27 for 34. Not a lot of yards per average. He only threw for 203, but those 2 picks were just
that pick six.
That pick 6 was just a dagger, dude. That just killed him. The game was over at that point.
I was another Geno Smith touchdown pass and 11 yards receiving from Kenneth Walker away from hitting a pretty substantial parlay. 2 days in a row, NFL action, I've been burned on running back receiving plays and parlays.
Yeah.
Well, could be the guy that, all those folks that lost money on Mahomes sliding on Sunday night.
Or you could be the guy that cashed out for 11 or 41 cents when he could have won $99,000.
Yes. Did you see that?
I read the article. I didn't know. Yeah, I mean, like.
What was it, 15-leg parlay?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. What's the worst that you guys have ever cashed out before?
I don't cash out. I don't think I've ever cashed out.
You don't cash out. You don't pull out. You're just in.
You're just in there.
I've told you guys plenty of times, never cash out unless there's like something changes in one of the games, like an injury or weather or something like that. Just hedge. Otherwise, why are you making the bet?
Because
this guy obviously put a lot of work because it was different. It was like money lines, over unders, spreads. So he was obviously researching like probably all 15 games. You do all that work, you put the $10 down, and then you cash out for 41 cents.
So that was a little extreme. I almost feel like it was a mistake, like something, like
Maybe.
you did something by accident.
Most of these apps, when you go to hit it, it asks you to confirm.
Yeah, I know.
There's no, my kid hit my phone or something,
I don't know if maybe he was drunk or high or when he's watching the games and he just kind of
Maybe he thought it said 10,000.
Yeah.
I don't know, but just to lose that much, I mean, you're losing already like $9.59 from the at bat, like you just kind of.
Well, no. So it was he cashed out for 10. It was a $10 bet. He cashed out for 10.41.
10.41.
So he won
okay,
41 cents.
Yeah, I mean, like,
but still,
what's the point?
Yeah, why even make that bet if you're going to cash out for that little?
I mean, look, I have a rule of thumb where, but the rule of thumb.
We'll see.
Yeah, I have a rule of thumb where if it's less than $10, I won't cash it out. Because what's the point at that point? And a lot of times I'm putting lottery ticket parlays together at that point. So if I cash out and get $2, like, why does it matter? Unless I know for certain all these games are blowouts and the thing still offers me like $1 or something. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I will take it just to, if it's 5 minutes left and it's still, for whatever reason, it's still giving me a cash out and the team's down by 25 or something. I'll take that. But for the most part, no. But yeah, if I lost that much money, I'd be beside myself. I cashed out a home run parlay in baseball once. They ended up hitting for like $300 or $400, and I cashed it out for like $35. This is like 2 years ago, and I was like sick all night long over that. I can only imagine $90,000.
I have bets, like single bets, where I'll think about placing it, but I don't, and it hits, and that pisses me off. I probably wouldn't bet ever again if I did that.
Well, this guy probably shouldn't. He definitely shouldn't bet on the Giants. A couple other teams he shouldn't bet for. A couple teams that saw some misery this weekend. Ryan, your Dallas Cowboys just eviscerated the New England Patriots. Just,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it was just a bad New England offense more than a Dallas defense. Dallas defense did do the work, but Mac Jones needs to, they literally need to make a decision on, do they want to go with Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones? I believe Mac Jones' ceiling is very, very low. It's not really, but so much he's going to give that team.
Yeah, I can see him making the change pretty soon. And he looked just bad.
Yeah,
I think he was just throwing the ball up.
Yeah, I think the pressure just got to him, almost like Daniel Jones last night. I guess when you get hit by so much and you see so much pressure, you just make decisions that are just not what you would normally do if you felt comfortable in the pocket, Yeah. So, I mean, Dallas looked good. I mean, like I said, they're a very Jekyll and Hyde team. So, we'll see what they do Sunday night against San Fran.
Scotty, I saw your eyes drifting toward the record button that's not lit up there.
Yeah.
I can assure you this podcast is recording.
Okay.
I'm recording straight into the laptop here.
I knew you were,
right now.
but
I forget. I did honestly
PTSD. Sorry.
I did honestly forget to hit that as a backup. But I am recording straight into the laptop right now. I saw he looked so concerned. It was like a child. I was like a father watching his child get the first haircut. It's like, oh my God, don't nip his ears. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I gave you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, there we go. Or he looked like the Bengals when they send Joe Burrow out there because he's just a sitting duck right now. He has no mobility. He has nothing. Didn't Arden Key or whatever his name was of the Panthers, a linebacker? He said in the post game, the Panthers. Jeez Louise, I'm mixing up my games. They lost to the Titans. Mm-hmm. It's in my notes here actually. I actually looked up the interview and I was listening to it. It was.
I'm gonna make sure the video is going. Since that, you got me in my head.
Scotty's very paranoid. Scotty's very paranoid tonight, everybody.
He's paranoid.
think we're good now, everybody.
Yes. Arden Key, the linebacker for the Titans, he told 3HL on 104.5 The Zone in Nashville that Joe Burrow was a sitting duck. And you saw Tennessee just kind of, I mean, they had 3 quarterback sacks, but they had a ton of pressure, a ton of hurries on him. They hit him. He just does not look comfortable. That Bengals offense, 3 points, Jamar Chase saying he's always open. There's just dysfunction abound, and I don't know how we got there in Cincinnati. Obviously the injury, but how did we get to where we are now?
I just think Cincinnati is so dependent on Burrow at that quarterback position that they're going to throw him out there if he's at 80% because the backup, I think his last name's Browning. I've never heard of the guy, to be honest with you. I think he played for Washington. Yep. But, like, they must not have a lot of faith in them to let even Burrow sit down a game or two just so he can get at least somewhat healthy, you know.
Yeah, it's too late now. They should have sat him the first 2 games. I mean, hindsight's 20/20. They lost both games, but they should have just sat him the first 2 games, let him get healthy. It's kind of too late now. They're 1-3 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of stuck. They kind of have to play him. They have to win now.
1-3, and then they're going to Arizona. And a little preview that's actually on my board that we'll get to here in a little bit.
Yikes, it's on mine too. So.
Hopefully I can fade. Let's fade Ryan, people. Yeah, and then another team, Pittsburgh, right now. Apparently, you know, the Steeler fans clamoring more and more to get rid of Matt Canada. I saw the press conference or the interview today with, I forget what station it was, but Tomlin essentially said they're not making any changes. He sounded a little testy. I've never been the biggest Mike Tomlin guy.
He's not making any changes?
Yeah.
Okay. I know you said after the game he was.
Yeah, but he said they're not firing Canada. So I don't know if he's going to get involved in the play calling. He's a defensive guy, but I don't know if he's going to get involved in the play calling or if Canada's going to share some things, or I don't know what's going to happen there. But, yeah, it's ugly right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because they look so good on Sunday night when they played the Raiders. Maybe that's just an indictment of how bad the Raiders are last Sunday night. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, they got Baltimore coming in there on Sunday. They're definitely going to be there. You know, the game's in Pittsburgh and Heinz Field, so.
Acrisure Stadium, sir.
I'm sorry. Acrisure Stadium. God, I didn't know they changed the name. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it could get bad in there if they get behind and, Pickett, who I assume is playing, because they say he's pretty much cleared from all his tests, like they weren't nothing bad was bad, done to his knee. So I'm assuming he's going to start, but if they get off to a slow start or Baltimore beats them up a little bit, especially on the offensive side, it could be a lot of boo birds in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that game was pissing me off because I had it was one of my podcast picks, the over in that game. I just needed the Steelers to get to 12 points, and the over would have hit. And they just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Did they even score a touchdown? I see they got 6.
No, there was
field goals.
It was field goals. It was 3-something at some point.
They got talent. That should not happen.
There was a stat that it was like the amount of teams that didn't score touchdowns. It was the Browns because they lost 28-3. The Steelers lost 30-6. They had 2 field goals. The Saints, they lost 26-9. They had 3 field goals. The Bengals lost 27-3. They had a field goal. And the Patriots lost 38-3. They had a field goal. And then last night, the Giants lost 24-3. They had a field goal. So how many teams is that didn't score touchdowns? Like 7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
that's. I don't know if that's a record, but it's got to be up there. It's some futility.
Well, you could be a Giants fan, and if you've gone to 2 home games this year against Dallas and against Seattle, you've seen your team get outscored 64-3.
Yeah, well, not even that. Like the first half in every game, they've gotten blown out.
Yeah, I mean, just being a Giants fan, spending all that money to go to these games and see that pathetic performance out there. I mean, those fans must be like, I would have loved to have heard any of the New York stations this morning. They probably were just burning up the lines.
Yeah, wasn't it the Jets? It was a quarterback. I think it was Zach Wilson of the Jets was walking off. It might have been halftime, and a fan yelled at him. He's like, "We pay a lot of money for this."
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah.
I mean, Zach Wilson didn't look bad. I mean, he had a terrible first few drives there, but I mean, he showed a little something there, right?
Yeah, I fell asleep before all that happened, so I still haven't seen good Zach Wilson yet.
Okay.
And then I woke up at the very end when they right as Mahomes had that last play where he slid down and probably cost a lot of people a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, Portnoy, Dave Portnoy tweeted it was a bad night for him all around. I think he was on the Jets, maybe money line, but then something with the Mahomes slide screwed him up. And then Taylor Swift was there at the game, of course, because they showed her 17 times for an Office Sports County.
She's the MVP.
Yeah.
They're 2-0.
But she was there, And Dave said 2 doors down. His nomenclature is always weird. 2 doors. Who says 2 doors? 2 people down. There was a girl drinking at High Noon, which sponsors him in Barstool, and he was just praying to God all night that she passed Taylor Swift to High Noon, because everything she touches just sells out instantaneously. And so I'd imagine every woman between here and Timbuktu would be buying High Noons, but her PR team's got to tell her don't touch anything with a label on it.
Yeah,
unless we're paying for it.
Yeah, I noticed when they show her, she's always drinking out of a plastic cup. It's never like a can of anything or a bottle of anything. So I don't know if that, like you're saying, that's on purpose.
Maybe we should start doing that.
What?
Maybe we'll get a sponsor.
Covering up some of these labels. It'll be hard to obscure the Michelob Ultra can. It's very can bottle.
Yeah. Well, they make things for that.
Yeah. It looks like one of the Chris's sex toys.
Jesus Christ.
It's probably why he's suspended right now. But speaking of suspended, last thing before we move on to college real quick and then our picks, the Bears, I guess, not a suspension, but they pretty much told Chase Claypool to hit the road. And
what the hell did he do?
He's just dysfunctional.
He said something about the coaching.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
They weren't using him right or something.
And earlier the season, right before the season, he was taking shots at Pittsburgh's coaching staff and how he didn't really mature and grow there as a route runner and stuff. And he just seems like a malcontent. And the Bears want to try to trade him, but who's going to want to try to trade for that? They know that you're going to have to cut him. And no one's going to pony up anything for him when he's going to be on the waiver wires.
No.
Yeah, nobody's going to. I mean, he hasn't. I guess he had one half a year that was one maybe 8-game stretch with Pittsburgh that was actually impressive.
He was a fantasy football god during that stretch.
Right, yeah. But
I got him the next year.
Right, and he didn't do anything. Right, that's what I'm saying. I guess you can see some potential there. I mean, I feel like a team unfortunately, my Cowboys would be the ones that would give him a second shot or a third shot, I guess, at this point. But, yeah, I don't see it as being a big market for him. If he did get cut, I don't see anybody saying, we got to trade him because all these teams are going after him. So, he's just a malcontent. I think he has a lot of talent. He's just
maybe Carolina.
He's got to grow up.
Maybe Carolina, because they have nothing. Absolutely.
Oh, the Giants.
Well, they're looking for a wide receiver 1 now. They've made it known.
Really?
Yeah. They got rid of one, but now they're looking for one.
Okay. I guess Thielen is not their number one. He had a great game the other week against Seattle.
He's the only one that can get separation of any kind. No one else can get off the ball. And then the offensive line, I love Ike Ekwonu, but that man has forgotten how to block altogether. He's a revolving door right now at tackle. I just don't know what Carolina's idea is, what their plans are. I don't think Carolina knows. And the offense is so vanilla. I listen to a lot of Raleigh and Charlotte radio, and people have talked about that, in the last couple of weeks, how opposing teams have even kind of said they kind of know what's coming. It's so watered down. It's so base. And one of the things they said when they drafted Bryce Young was how smart he is, how fast he picks up on things. Let the kid fly,
Yeah. I mean, maybe Frank Reich is just trying to ease him in, but at this point, I don't think you should be easing in anybody game 4. I mean, right now, either you want to make a season out of this or not, because they're 0-4, right? They haven't won this year.
I don't think they've won.
They lost to Seattle the week before last. They lost to Minnesota last week.
Yeah, they're 0-4.
Yeah. And they lost to Atlanta first week, and whoever they played the second week. Yeah, I know they haven't won a game. So I mean,
they're 0-4, and they go to a battle of the cats as they go take on the Motor City Kitties this week in Detroit. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think either give him the full playbook at this point or sit him and let them mature under Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
So their best offensive game this year was when Andy Dalton started against Seattle, and they put up, I think, 20-some-odd points. So, I mean, it's either let him do the whole playbook or sit him down. I mean, he's not ready. He can't run base offense in the NFL game 4.
37-27, they lost to Seattle.
Yeah.
That started, and that was the most points that they scored all season long.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of scoring points, Ryan, you and I are fans of the North Carolina State Wolfpack, and they have not been able to score points. We saw a very ugly, 13-10 loss.
Was a ridiculous loss.
To Louisville, where the defense just played about as good as the defense can play under Dave Doran. Peyton Wilson making a case to maybe be ACC Defensive Player of the Year, the way he's playing right now, but Brennan Armstrong, just some of the worst interceptions I've seen a quarterback throw. and now he's being replaced by MJ Morris. Your thoughts on the switch?
Right here. Thank God for thank goodness that Dave Dorn finally got.
Oh, wrong button.
Wow, I guess it's a Brennan Armstrong fan over there.
Oh yeah, I love nothing more than interceptions. Nothing more. I was looking for the applause.
And double agent over here.
I'm just glad that Dave Dorn finally got a. I don't know who talked to him, who said something. Cause I'm sure Robert and I was all on, the offense coordinator for NC State, was all on board for keeping Brennan Armstrong as a starter because I was this guy when he was at UVA a couple of years ago. They had a great season, so I'm sure he didn't want to not double cross Brennan Armstrong, but I'm sure that was kind of like the reason why Brennan Armstrong came there was to reunite with his old coach, try to revive his career since he had such a mediocre year last year, and it just wasn't working. I don't know if it's just the receivers. I mean, MJ Morris could go out there and do the same thing because the receivers aren't getting open or maybe the line isn't blocking, but they just need to change something up because scoring, 24 points or less against FCS competition week in and week out, you're just putting too much pressure on the defense. And by the end of the year, they're just going to be worn out, and we are going to start getting beat by teams where they're going to score a lot more points on us.
I think the offensive line's been bad. Dylan McMahon comes back this week for State as they get ready to host Marshall on Saturday. That'll help, and that'll actually shift around a few spots on the offensive line. But the line's been bad. The running backs have it. Michael Allen's shown flashes there, and Raphael got hurt against Virginia. But the running backs haven't really run the ball. Brendan Armstrong has been the rushing tack. I guess you'll see some more RPO with MJ in there. But the receivers don't get separation, especially a guy like Keon Lassane, who, you go back and look, his biggest game was the VMI game, and that's, VMI. And he laid out and had that one catch against Notre Dame, but that's about it. I don't think Juice Vereen got any snaps against Louisville. And then we saw Kevin Concepcion hurt his knee. I think he's going to be okay, though, against Louisville. So
yeah, I think he'll be back.
We'll see. Maybe it's putting lipstick on the pig, but you got to go down firing all your bullets. So we'll see what happens in Raleigh. And Scotty, your Virginia Tech Hokies got off the schneid.
Pittsburgh has been disappointing, but still they were moving the ball, scoring some points. Best they've looked all year for sure.
Who's up next for Tech? I saw it earlier today, and I was reading about it. And we've been talking so much, it went over my head there. Put you on the spot there. Give me 1 second. In Virginia Tech, yes, that's right. Florida State. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
That's probably why I forgot.
3:30 ABC in Tallahassee there. Get ready to go to 2-4 there, Hokies. We can't bet this one in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but yeah.
We're still up 2-0 on UVA.
There we go. So. And speaking of UVA, the Cavaliers host a tribe of William and Mary. Mike London coming home again. Hey, did you hear that he was a cop?
Yeah, like he's in Richmond, right?
Yeah, well, every time that William and Mary's on TV or Mike London's on TV, that's always mentioned. Oh. Like 14,000 times. Did you know that Patrick Mahomes' dad played in the major leagues?
Well, yeah, that's another one that I'm tired of hearing of.
Or whenever any tight end catches a pass that played basketball in college.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Or, did you know that Travis Kelce's banging Taylor Swift?
I did not know that.
Okay, yeah. So, we'll hear all those cliches. Did you know Mike London used to coach at Virginia?
I did know that, yes. Okay, I believe I did.
So get ready to hear that 9,000 times on the ACC network on Saturday at high noon when they kick off in front of about 14 friends and family for that one. Cavaliers 0-5.
Have you seen a line on this?
I have not looked at the line.
I don't know if this is correct. I see a +1, but it's like
what
for William and Mary. That might be wrong there.
Well, Tribe were undefeated, but they lost to CAA leading Elon last week, their first loss of the year.
I'm just shocked this game was within a touchdown. Like, be honest with you. I mean, just because it's FCS versus a FBS team, I don't know, at home, I just feel like that should be like, I don't know, 5 or 6 points right there.
Let's see here.
Virginia lost 27-24 at a very bad Boston College team.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Weekend.
I get it. They could get beat, but I just feel like that's like total disrespect if it's a 1-point spread. Like Virginia, like, y'all may lose this game. We don't even, like, Vegas not even, like, being shy about it.
Well, I mean, you usually get 3 for being at home, right?
That's what they say.
Home.
But when you get a little bit more, you think on it, normally on it, if it was like, I don't know, like if we were playing VMI, I'm sure they were kind of like, we'll give them like a touchdown just because they should be at least a touchdown better. The home advantage should give them at least a touchdown. If it's FCS, FBS. Yeah, but yeah, normally is like a 3-point for like NFL, FBS football, games.
It might be. I would say it might be 60-40 split between Virginia fans and William and Mary fans. This game, the Tribe has a small but passionate following.
Yeah,
and it ain't that far of a trip up 64.
Yeah,
and they've had a lot of success in Charlottesville over the years.
Yeah, I don't think that line's correct. I don't think they have a line on it yet.
Okay. Yeah, usually the FCS ones come out a little bit later on. So,
or they might not even put a line on it if it's 2 Virginia teams and it's UVA, William and Mary. Like, who's going to bet on that?
It's Big Cat. Big Cat would bet on that. It's his
can't bet on it here.
His can't lose parlay. He'll put the Cavaliers in there and they'll probably lose. So, all right, well, our suspended friend probably doesn't even know that the Cavaliers are 0-5. I think he's moved on to basketball.
No, he knows.
Like most Virginia fans. I actually saw.
He'll pop his hit in when they start doing a little good.
Yeah, I'm sure Scotti let him know that they lost.
That
he's up 2-0.
Yeah, I did.
All right, well, let's go to some picky pickies for this week. We'll start with the National Football League. Who wants to take the honors and go through their picks there?
Scotty had the best week last week.
Yeah, what'd you do? What'd you do last week?
I went 1-2 in both.
Yeah, as did I.
Yeah. Ryan, I think you went 1-2 in what?
I 1-2 in NFL.
And then 2-1 in college, right?
Yeah. NFL screwed me, man. No, NFL. I'm sorry, NFL. I was 2-1.
Okay. That's right. I know you were 2-1 in one of them. I got them written down.
Yeah, it was. I lost the Jets Chiefs game by a half a point. I had 42.5 under, and it was a 43-point game.
Yeah, I should have been 2-1 if the Steelers could have got to 12 points. Anyways,
that dumbass safety.
that
Mahomes took.
Yeah.
It's like, God. No, it wasn't even Mahomes taking it. It was a hold in the end zone.
Right.
Was it that's the Juwan Taylor guy that's always offside? I mean, always false starting on every single play. Yeah.
That guy.
It was that guy. Yeah, exactly. It was him.
All right, Ryan. So you got your picks up first here. You got Gale Sayers scoring a couple touchdowns.
I don't have that prop this week. I'll look it up though. I may have it. My own personal bets.
He's got Otto Graham.
Him and Neil Anderson. Going old school Chicago 1980s.
There you go.
1980s, early 90s. I think Neil Anderson actually went to Florida. But anyway, my picks of the week. First game, Texans at Falcons, and the
Jesus Christ.
What?
That's on my card too.
Texans are hot, man.
Yeah.
That is. I feel like Vegas has not caught up on their on what they're doing yet. They look really good the last couple of weeks. C.J. Stroud, no interceptions thrown. I think he's thrown 151. Has 151 attempts. Again, they're playing in Atlanta, so it's a road game, but they looked good against Jacksonville a couple of weeks ago on the road in a hostile stadium there in Duval County.
Did you hear the English fans?
Yes,
do the
I did.
Duval. I would love for any of them to find Duval. Right? I'd love for any of them to find Jacksonville on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, Texans Falcons. I have Falcons being favored by 3. I'm taking Texans plus that 3. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. It's plus 2 now, Texans. So I'm taking that. The line started off at plus 3. I did see it down to 1.5 at some point today, but I'll take it at plus 2 where it's currently at. I just think C.J. Stroud's playing well. Ritter is not. He didn't look bad in the second half of that game in Wembley or in England. I think that was actually
that was Wembley.
Was that Wembley? Okay,
yeah.
In Wembley.
They're in Tottenham this week.
That's what I was getting confused if they were in Tottenham this week or not, or last week or not. But he looked good. Ritter didn't look good, but I think Stroud is just going to outclass him a little bit and win. Texans, I mean, they're just looking good. D'Amico Ryans has got those guys, I think, believing. If anything, they're going to play hard and they're believing. So I like Texans plus 2 on Sunday. Second game, again, it's not. I don't have a great slate. Not a lot of marquee games. We're just trying to get winners here, guys. Winners.
Yeah, I don't either. So.
Second game is Bengals at Cardinals in State Farm Stadium. I think that's the one that my colleague to my left picked as well. I'm taking the Bengals. I'm taking the Cardinals plus 3. They're getting 3. Bengals were favored by 3 points, which surprised me because they look so bad against the Titans. Again, Cardinals are very reminiscent of the Texans, where they're just playing hard. They They end up losing to San Francisco by 19, but I think that game last week. But I think that game was much closer than people expected to be. I think the Cardinals were within 5 late in the third against San Fran at their place. So, again, impressed the Cardinals. They beat my team's ass, beat my Cowboys' ass. So, I'm going to go with the Cardinals here, getting the 3. Again, the line started off at 5 plus 5 Bengals. So I think the public is betting, that the Cardinals will get this one. So I like the Cards there. Then my last game of the week, out in Mile High Stadium, battle of the 1-3 Jets.
Mile High.
Isn't that Mile High?
Actually, no, it's in Power Stadium.
In Power Stadium.
That's right.
Getting all the
Okay.
I'm learning a lot of new names for these stadiums today. But anyway, Jets at Broncos at Empower Stadium in Denver. Jets defense really impressed me on Sunday night. They looked so good against Kansas City. They rattled Mahomes there. After they got down 17-0, something kicked in. I think they said that Mahomes only threw for like 99 yards in the second half of that game, which is very unusual for him. He just looked rattled. And I think if they can rattle him, they're going to rattle Russell Wilson. I'm not taking a spread on this game. I'm taking over-under. I don't think the Jets will generate those many points, even against a really bad Denver team. I just think Zach Wilson is still susceptible to making mistakes. So I think that'll keep the score low, the score low, where the over-under is at 43.5. I'm taking the under on that. Again, I'm looking for maybe a 20-17 type of game. I'm just thinking if the Chiefs-Jets game was 43, I just don't see the Jets and the Broncos generating more points. I don't know, maybe that's too simple and logical, but I just think that's going to be a very low-scoring, ugly type of game. Russell Wilson still is making mistakes. Didn't look real good in the first half of the Bears game, but he pulled it out in the second half, and the Bears defense is trash. So I think it's going to be a really low-scoring game. So I got Jets at Broncos under 43.5.
Ryan, you just made a perfect example of Occam's razor with your theory there.
Yeah.
You know Occam's razor?
I believe I do, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think I do.
If two competing ideas explain the same phenomenon, you should prefer the simpler one. Occam's razor.
Okay.
That's a little psychology for you there, people.
Yeah. All right.
I'll graduate college one day.
Okay. Maybe.
We're just looking for the school that's willing to accept this man. He's a smart guy.
Yeah. Too bad there's no Blue Mountain State out here right now.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Thank God.
All right. So I guess I'll go, what was this, clockwise? Yeah, I'll go clockwise, and we'll go to me here. First up on my card, Thursday Night Football, the 0-4 Bears at the 2-2 Washington Commanders on Prime Video.
Oh, boy.
Washington is a 6.5-point favorite. Over-under is 44.5. The Bears can't score unless they play the Broncos. Then they can't still score enough to win. They can't play defense. Matt Eberflus can't coach. They got another distraction with Chase Claypool, and he's likely going to get cut. Cairo Santos, though, is perfect on field goals and extra points this year. And Trenton Gill has only got 1 touchback and 4 down punts inside the 20. Their special teams players are probably their best players
best unit
this year.
That's usually when you're not a good team.
Exactly.
All those years that Washington was terrible, we're like, Trust Way,
MVP, baby. By the way, Trenton Gill, member of the Wolfpack, North Carolina State.
Yes.
All that being said, I'm going to go with Washington minus the 6.5. I actually even picked up Sam Howell in another league that I'm in because I feel like they're going to light it up and just kick the shit out of the Bears.
All in, Scotty's all in.
Yeah, you're 0-1 picking us as favorites so far. So.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. And that's how where the Comanches or Commandos, whatever they are, sold out the stadium again. So
yeah, man.
They got that going for them.
Yeah. Thursday night.
Where were they giving
impressive.
out? Where were they giving out free soup?
I don't know what they're doing. Snyder being gone is all that matters.
Yeah. Next game, just looking for winners here. Coming off a 1-2 week. I'm struggling on these spreads. I'm 99% in the country on ESPN straight up. But I'm struggling with the spreads here. So New York Giants, 1-3 at the 3-1 Dolphins, 1 o'clock on Fox. Miami, 11-point favorite. Over under is 50. Giants are a train wreck. Now they're on a short week. going to Miami, and they're playing a team that essentially plays basketball on grass. I'm going to go with the Dolphins -11. In fact, Scotty, take my line here and bump it up to -14.
All right, let me do you a favor here, okay?
Okay.
Instead of doing 14, do 13.5.
Okay, fine, 13.5.
Okay.
We're going to bump it to 13.5, Miami over the New York Football Giants.
That way you don't get the push.
I mean, it seems right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably not going to win by 12 or 13. So.
Yeah. And then lastly, the game that you and I were both on, Ryan, the 1-3 Bengals at the 1-3 Cardinals, Sunday 4:05 on Fox. Cincinnati 3-point favorite on my board, and then I have over under 44.5. My pick here, I'm going to go Cardinals money line on my pick here. I talked about last week, Tennessee got 3 sacks of Burrow, but they were in his face. They were harassing him all day. Cardinals play good defense, and they hit, and they're physical. And I think they're going to blitz. They're going to put a lot of pressure, and they're going to make Joe Burrow beat them. And I wouldn't be surprised. I hope it doesn't happen. I'm knocking on wood. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't finish that game. The way he was not mobile, not being able to escape things last week, and a wounded animal. And I think Arizona's going to come for him. So I like Arizona money line there.
All right.
Scotty?
Interesting. So my first pick here is New Orleans at New England. And I'm going to go under 39.5. So I bet all 3 of these this morning. So I'm just going with where I got it this morning. But yeah, under 39.5 here. Neither team has scored 21 points yet this year. And they both have pretty good defenses. And I think Belichick is going to be more conservative. So Mac Jones isn't throwing pick sixes out there.
Remember that Matthew Judon is out probably for the year. He's not playing on Sunday. Either is Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, I still think it'll be like a dogfight. It's so slow.
Okay.
Like I think
I agree with
New
you.
England's going to be running the ball a lot, I think. So I'll take the under 39.5 on there. My second game, I got the same games as Ryan here, 2 of yours, but different picks. I got the Jets. They're in Denver. What's the name of the field again?
Empower Field at Mile High.
I cannot bet on Denver as a favorite. They were favored against the Bears. They still didn't cover. Jets I got them at +2.5. Apparently Zach Wilson didn't look like the worst quarterback in the world for a couple quarters. Maybe he can keep that going. And this could be one of them, like something fluky happens and ends up being a 2-point game. So usually I would take the money line, but I will take the 2.5 here for the podcast sake. But yeah, I'm not betting on the Broncos as a favorite ever. Until something changes.
Maybe the Broncos can distract Zach Wilson with some of the MILFs and the Cougars over at Cherry Hill in Denver.
Oh, sounds like you're speaking from personal experience.
It's a very affluent area. It's quite nice.
Well, yeah, I guess Russell Wilson is I know you said Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
I guess both of these guys are
He
kind
likes
of
the Cougars.
affluent. So maybe they'll both. Man, damn, should bet the under. Did you bet the under?
I did bet the under.
Damn. So yeah, that might have been the better pick. Well, no, Jets 2.5, +2.5. Or my last pick is the Houston Atlanta game. It's the exact same over under as the Houston Steelers game, over 41.5. I'm going to try it again. Atlanta's offense, they've been in the 20s in both of their home games so far. They're at home this week, and Houston's offense is rolling. C.J. Stroud just throwing the ball all over the place, and I think Atlanta should. It might be in the second half like they've been doing in their previous home games. But I could see both teams getting in the 20s like it should have been last week with the Steelers. But, yeah, over 41.5, Houston at Atlanta.
Speaking of Atlanta, Drake London is a interesting case study to me because that guy has all the talent in the world. I know, like, Ritter doesn't really give him the ball. They're not that explosive. But I feel like he drops balls. He doesn't get open. I feel like he should be much further along in his development than what he is. Should be a bigger home run hitter than what he is. And I look at that guy and I see like a ton of potential. Maybe just because I own him in several fantasy leagues and I'm frustrated, but still.
You had Kyle Pitts too, man. I mean, like, I feel like they have a talented.
Get Kyle Pitts to Washington.
I mean, Kyle Pitts, Drake London.
John Robinson, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have weapons. I just think it's a matter of time for Ritter to be sat down or, they'll just get another quarterback next year.
Their line's not terrible either. Yeah. Like, they're set up.
And if Cordell Patterson ever gets healthy, what are they calling him now? The Joker position that they're calling him now?
Yeah.
Well, he's getting up there for a running back anyways. Maybe they can keep him at wide receiver.
Move him around, do a few different things with him. Kind of like Virginia did a few years ago with, what was his name, Ketone Thompson or whatever. They got the transfer from Mississippi State.
Number 99.
Yeah, he was football player on the depth chart.
That worked out.
The football player should have played for the football team. Maybe if he played for the football team, they wouldn't have changed the name to the Comanches or whatever they are now.
The Comanches.
That's such a better name than Commanders. Such a better name. I don't think there was any.
You're not wrong.
I don't think there's any Comanches in this part of the country, though.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Yeah.
But there ain't no lakes in Minnesota. I mean, lakes in L.A., so, you know.
In L.A.?
Yeah, the L.A. Lakers. There are no lakes in L.A.
Oh, that's true.
I erroneously said Minnesota at first. Unless you count, like, pools of heroin on the streets or something like that.
There's those there, yeah, too.
Or vomit or piss.
Yeah,
or
whatever bodily fluid you want to name.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Since I'm denigrating people, I guess I'll start with the college football picks here. I'm going right off the bat. College game days there. I think Big Noon Kickoff is there too. The Red River rivalry. Fuck it. It's Red River Shootout, people. I'm not going to call it the PC name. It's a shootout. It's always been the shootout. That's what it's going to be. Oklahoma and Texas, both teams coming in 5-0 Saturday at the Cotton Bowl, noon on ABC. Longhorns, 6.5-point favorite. Over under is 60.5. Texas, by the way, 5-0 for the first time since they played for the national title in 2009. Both offenses putting up video game numbers. Oklahoma's out for revenge. Remember, they got drubbed 49-0 in this game last year. I think Texas wins, but Oklahoma keeps it close. I'm taking the Sooners plus the 6.5.
Okay.
All right. Then after that, 8 o'clock on Fox, in my favorite stadium this season, the War Memorial Stadium in beautiful Laramie, Wyoming, the Cowboys, 4-1, entertaining the 25th ranked 5-0 Fresno State Bulldogs.
I had my Bulldogs.
Fresno State, 6-point favorite. Over under is 46. Harrison Whaley. He is a dude. Ran for 191 yards last week for the Pokes and a touchdown against New Mexico. And I love their quarterback, Andrew Peasley, for Wyoming. He's tough as nails. Bulldogs have Power 5 wins over Purdue and Arizona State. But at that altitude, at night, in Laramie, that's a place that upsets are made to happen, and it's a zoo. I'm going with Wyoming plus the 6, but I will sprinkle a little bit on them money line.
Laramie spoken.
Yeah, Laramie. I see what you
Boo!
You can give me a card.
It took me a second.
I'll take it. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was that was awful.
You're also betting on Wyoming.
Hey,
So
Pokes are
This
Pokes
game's
are
on
good,
Fox.
man.
This is a Fox game, 8 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Nationally televised. man.
I'm not gonna. I almost went with that too.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
And then for my third one here, number 13, Washington State 4-0 on the road, rolling into the Rose Bowl, take on 3-1 UCLA, 3 o'clock on the Pac-12 network, which, goddamn it, no one can see this fucking game because who has the goddamn Pac-12 network? This is why your conference is falling apart. I want to gladly give my cable provider money to watch this, and I can't.
I used to be able to when on YouTube TV. No, I had what's the other one? Fubu.
Russian XYZ 42839.
He said Fubu.
I had Fubu.
He said Fubu.
Fubo.
Fubo.
My bad. Fubu. Fubo.
For us by
us.
what's the O stand for?
For us by one. I don't know.
Oppressors.
Yeah,
That might be racist.
In Fubu TV, isn't that BET?
That might be racist.
yeah, that's probably
You
racist.
said it, not me.
Hey, I can say it. But yes, no one gets the goddamn Pac-12 network. I want to watch this game, but I can't. UCLA minus 3.5. Over under is 59. Something's got to give here. The Cougs are fourth in the Pac-12, averaging 45.8 points a game. UCLA's D is first in the Pac-12, only giving up 11 points a game. Cam Ward's on pace to throw for over 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns. But, he's in the league with Shedeur Sanders and Bo Nix and, Michael Penix. And by the way, Caleb fucking Williams. That league is just loaded with quarterbacks. I do have some concerns about the Cougars' rush defense. They're a little soft there. That being said, though, I like Wazoo to go into the Rose Bowl and get the win, taking the Cougs money line.
All right.
Old Crimson's going to be flying. Bring College Game Day to the Palouse. I don't know who they play next week, but win this game. Bring college game day to the Palouse. We need to see it in beautiful Pullman, Washington. 8 miles from Moscow, Idaho, by the way, which is home to the University of Idaho.
Well, if they keep winning,
Right. Yeah.
well, that game's at Oregon. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if they keep winning, they'll play Oregon here in the next couple of weeks. So that could be a big game.
Which, by the way, there's some serious football in that region. Cougs are playing well, and Oregon is like Oregon. Well, obviously Oregon's playing well, but Idaho is like a top 10 team in FCS.
Yeah,
They took their lumps after dropping down at first, but Vandals are quite good. Don't fuck around with the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, all the Pacific Northwest teams are ranked. Oregon State, I believe, they're ranked.
Yeah, Oregon State's good.
Washington State's
lights out.
ranked.
Washington.
Quarterbacks everywhere.
Yeah, Washington. Boise's having a bit of a down year, but I still wouldn't want to fuck with Boise State. Yeah. Montana State. Don't fuck around up there.
Fuck around with the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. All right, Scotty, what do you got? Campbell and Howard or something?
No, that would be you, sir.
I'm
surprised you didn't go in that route.
I wanted to go Rhode Island and Brown so bad, but the line wasn't out yet. Governor's Cup. I'm taking Rhode Island to go into Providence and get that win. That's an off-the-board pick for me right there. Go Rams.
All right. I don't know what that was, but we'll start with the Red River Shootout.
Thank you.
I actually got it this morning at Texas -6, but since that's 6.5 now, we'll go Texas -6.5. I mean, both teams are 5-0. Oklahoma's 5-0 against the spread, actually, but I can just see them having a down game here. It's in a neutral field. Texas already went into Alabama and beat them by double digits. I just think they're a much better team, so I'm going to go, I think they'll win by a touchdown plus. So that's my first pick.
I'm putting the horns down for that.
Yeah, and Oklahoma was giving up like big plays to Iowa State last week, so yeah. I can
That's
see
a
Texas
flag.
putting up some points.
Can't do that anymore.
Oh, the horns down?
You can't do that anymore. Not in the Big 12. They will flag you.
Yeah, for the horns down.
If you do it on the field.
Damn. Okay.
You know what? Go ahead and give me my red card. I'm going to go ahead and put them down again. If I
right.
lived in the great state of Texas, I'd be anti-Longhorn all day long. T-sips.
All right. My second pick here is Kansas versus UCF. I'm going Kansas -2. Conference play has not treated UCF well at all. They gave up 36 points to Baylor last week, was struggling like mightily before that on offense. I watched Kansas actually play a couple weeks ago, and their offense is kind of dynamic. They got their ass kicked against Texas last week, but I could see them bouncing back and covering the 2 points against UCF.
Go Jayhawks. Where's that game at again?
In Kansas. And
Yeah, beautiful Lawrence, Kansas.
there you go. My last pick here is this one feels very trappy, but I just feel like LSU is not going to lose 2 games in a row. I'm going to go LSU -6.5 at Missouri. Again, that 6.5 is a scary line for some reason, but I just feel like Missouri's not really that good, and LSU's played a lot of tough competition so far. I think they're going to go in there pissed off and win by double digits. But 6.5.
Eli Drinkowitz is going to have his boys ready, and they've been playing well. That should be a fun game. And by the way, if Brian Kelly loses that game, maybe some conversations start being had in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Maybe some conversations start being had.
And his accent.
His faux Hillary Clinton Southern accent. I'm in no ways tired. Yeah.
We almost won that one.
Yeah. Ryan, what you got? Colgate and University of Chicago?
No.
Colgate.
No. Well, I guess the first game since everybody opened up with Red River Shootout, Oklahoma versus Texas, I'm going to side with Scotti and go.
I'd rather be on your side than Leon's side.
Go Oklahoma 6.5.
Wait. You got Oklahoma plus?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Texas, giving a 6.5. I just think those boys are rolling. I saw them play Kansas last week. Even though Kansas had their backup quarterback who looked good last week, to be honest with you. They looked good in definitely in the first half of the game. I just think Texas is going to be too much. Defensively, they're very, very strong, very, very deep, especially on that defensive line. It's like Ewers is getting better, game by game. Again, kind of like Scotti said, referring to the LSU Missouri game. I think Texas has played a very tough schedule so far. I mean, they've played a couple of ranked teams between Kansas and Alabama. They played Wyoming, which is a tough out. Baylor isn't that good this year, but they're solid. They had a great comeback last week against Central Florida down at their place. So I just think Texas is kind of getting it going. I think this is their year to, try to do something here before they go to the SEC where they may not be heard from again. They have to play those teams week in and week out. So I like Texas giving a 6.5. Second game of the week, I'm actually going to go side with Mr. Oliver with the Washington State UCLA, except I'll be a little more brave, and I'll take I'll give the 3.5 that Washington State is favored by.
Wait, I didn't know the line was 3.5.
No, UCLA was favored.
UCLA favored by 3.5?
On what I had this morning on Caesars.
It was.
Give me a
I remember
second.
saying because it looked weird because Washington State was ranked and UCLA wasn't. Yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry, Leon. I have it written down here. And
the dyslexia. I can't say the word.
Dyslexia.
There we go.
Yeah.
Most people that have it can't say it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, wait a second. But I would.
Boring.
I will take the points with Washington State. Weirdly enough, that line did start off with Washington State only getting 2.5. So actually, a lot of people are putting money on UCLA. Seems like at least opening the week. Maybe those are sharps trying to tell me something. But I'm going to go Washington State. I like what they did against Oregon State. They look really, really good against them. Again, their offense is clicking. Their quarterback, I think, like Cam Ward, but like Leon said, is very underrated. Again, just because he's in the Pac-12, he's just not going to get a lot of pubs especially playing in Washington State as well. But I like them against UCLA. I think UCLA is still having issues at quarterback. I don't know if they've not found their quarterback yet. 'Cause I know they were playing a freshman the last game they played against Utah, and they only scored 7, and that was kind of late in the game. But Utah is a very good defense, but they just looked a little rough on with their quarterback. I know they've had 2 weeks off though, so whoever they're going to have playing quarterback should be prepped with a 2 week, advance notice, a 2 week layoff, 2 week practice period that they can kind of prep them up. So, anyway, it should be a tight game, but I do like Washington State getting those 3.5. Last game of the week is going to be, which I thought again was a very curious line. Maybe I'm not seeing everything, but Colorado against Arizona State down in Tempe is only. I mean, they're a 4-point favorite. I feel like that's a very easy line for Colorado to cover here. I know it's in Arizona State, but Arizona State hasn't looked great this year. They played USC well, but I mean USC. I don't know. They don't play defense. They don't try to play defense an entire game. They lost by 14 to USC. So 42-28 a couple of weeks ago. Arizona State lost to Cal last week by 3. So I'm kind of like, I don't know if Arizona State's really that good to not be more than a 4-point, underdog in this game. Colorado, to their credit, looked great against USC. At least the offense did. I think the defense held their own in the second half. I mean, they had given up 35 points, I think, at halftime or something like that. So the fact that they only gave up 48, 49 to end that game, I thought they did well. So I just think Deion's going to get those guys ready to play well as they can against Arizona State, and you get back on the winning track. And I think Arizona's primed to be beat here. I mean, I just don't see them not beating them by at least double figures, to be honest with you. I don't think they can score with Colorado, put it that way. So I'll take Colorado and the 4
over Arizona State.
I almost took that
or
one.
given the 4. Yeah.
Arizona State, you mentioned lost to Cal last week. By the way, did you see the crowd shot? There was a crowd shot from Cal and from Stanford this past week. It was probably about the attendance of this room to the 7th power.
Cal cost me a parlay, so I'm mad at them. I took the line down to 3. It was like a 3-leg parlay. No, 3.5. And they this is as far down as I could take it. It was 3.5, and they won by 3.
Now, you want to talk about me betting on FCS. Cal just might as well be FCS. You're betting on Cal football.
They're going to be in the ACC next year. Let's go.
Go ACC.
They won. I mean.
Go ACC.
Yeah.
Well, my worst bad beat of the week was Fresno State. They were 24.5-point favorites. They were beating Nevada last week, I think they were actually like shutting them out. Let me pull up the score right quick. But they were shutting them out, and with 11 seconds left, Nevada scored a touchdown to screw my that bet up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which was like I didn't watch the game, of course, but I saw they had won. So I looked at the box score to see what was going on, like how what was the score, how did they win, and I saw they scored with like 11 seconds left. I was like, Jesus, like.
Yeah, I was sweating out that Notre Dame game last week. It came down to that 2-point conversion that Duke went for at the end because it was 5.5. They were trying to make it a. They're trying to make it a shit. I forget what they were trying to do. They're trying to make it a 6-point game.
Cocaine's
no, a 4-point game. For some reason, I don't know. But yeah, the 2-point conversion somehow was like going to be the difference in if they covered or not, and they missed it.
Yeah, this is what it was. At the beginning of the fourth quarter, Fresno State was up 27-0, and then they got a safety to make it 27-2 with like 8:22 left in the game, and then with 11 seconds left, Fresno scored the touchdown to cover for them for Fresno State to cover. They were Adam favored by 24.5. So. Yeah. I was like, well, shit.
Well, I had a bad beat earlier today. I had an 11-leg soccer parlay that was going to pay out $22.55 was the odds on that bad boy. Champions League, Union Berlin and Braga. I moved the line because I knew this was going to be a high-scoring game, so I moved it to under 4.5 goals. It was minus 900 for under 4.5 goals.
You should have went the other way and went over.
I wasn't thinking. I didn't. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't smart. And that failed, and that was the only leg that screwed me there. So that's what you get for betting Bundesliga teams and Portuguese league teams in the Champions League. So I got that going for me. Well, something else we got going for me, baseball playoffs going on right now, Major League Baseball playoffs. I know earlier today the Texas Rangers defeated the Tampa Bay Rays, who were wearing their Devil Ray uniforms. They beat them 4-0 at Tropicana Field. And did you boys see that apparently the Rays drew the lowest playoff crowd that was non-pandemic since 1919? They had announced attendance of 19,704 people inside the Trop. That was the lowest non-pandemic attendance since 1919 for a playoff game.
And they're so good at home. I don't understand it.
They just announced that new stadium that's supposed to be getting done in St. Pete, but yeah.
I have a friend that lives down in actually lives in Tallahassee, and he was saying like getting to that stadium and getting out is like hell on earth. Like it's only one way in and one way out. So people just don't go just because it's just tough to get there. I mean, it's Florida, so there's a lot of other things to do, but just a tough in and out. And that game was at 3:00 in the day, so that was just tough.
Yeah, that's true.
Tough to get there.
A lot of retired people with nothing else going on. They could have showed up. I don't know. Times are tight. Maybe they're pinching pennies. And then also the Twins beat the Blue Jays 3-1 earlier today. As we record this right now, Diamondbacks and Brewers are going on, and Phillies and Marlins. We'll talk more about the playoffs as we get more into further along. Maybe the LCS will sort of break it down a little bit more. But initial thoughts for you guys. Any of these teams you see in the wild card round could potentially make a run like the Phillies last year?
Why not the Phillies again?
Yeah.
You think the Phillies?
Good of a chance as any of the other wild cards.
I think the Twins are built similar to how the Phillies were last year. And I like them. I don't know. I like the ballpark. I like the way they play baseball. Excuse me. I think they could make a run in the American League. Though I think, we all know all roads probably lead to Atlanta and Los Angeles facing off again eventually. Yeah. It's just a formality.
Yeah, I know this maybe I'm jumping on the bandwagon or whatever, like because they're up 1-0 now. But I do like Texas. Their bullpen's a little shaky. I know they have Aroldis Chapman trying to close down games now, which is always a risky thing to do, a risky thing to count on. But their starting pitching's good, even though they have Scherzer, which hurts them a lot. But the team can score runs. I mean, like if runs need to happen, this team can generate them. They have some big bats on that lineup, so I kind of like how they play. And they've been playing playoff baseball for like the last 2 or 3 weeks because the AL West was so tight, and just to get into the AL playoffs in general, it was tight. So I like Texas. I mean, they could definitely give, if they get by Tampa Bay. I don't know who they would play next, the Orioles or the or
Orioles.
Houston.
Orioles.
Or they play Orioles.
They don't reseed in baseball, right?
Yeah.
They don't, right?
As far as I know, they don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
then it would be us then.
Yeah, I mean, it could be an interesting series between the Orioles, Texas.
As long as Texas doesn't go out and party, after they win, because that essentially cost them the AL West. I don't know what the fuck they were doing there.
I don't know.
That's the difference between the organization that's been there, Houston, and the organization that hasn't.
Well, it's Bruce Bochy. I mean, you think he'd be pulling all the strings, and he's Hall of Fame manager. But it's interesting that they kind of partied after they clinched the spot.
Yeah,
a little early to be celebrating.
Well, thankfully they were celebrating and no one passed away. And this is a really awkward transition. But as we get into the non-sports stuff, chocolate a lot of times is something that you celebrate with. Valentine's Day, birthday, anniversary, clean HIV test. Chocolate's a celebratory thing. Well, there was a woman who went to a palm reader, and she was killed by chocolate from the palm reader, and the palm reader told her that she was going to die soon when she read her, palm. She vomited. Her vision was a bit blurred. Her body was soft. It was a matter of hours. The victim's bereaved cousin, Bianca Christina, told Globo One of her untimely passing. Now, this story was reported in the New York Post. They're aggregating it from the original source. I don't know what the fuck a Globo One is. Sounds like an offshoot of Globo Gym from Dodgeball. Scotti, you look like you could go to the Globo Gym. Actually, no, Average Joe's.
Yeah, I'm Average Joe's.
You're Average Joe's.
I think you're Average Joe's too. So.
Yeah.
I think we all got our Average Joe's.
Yeah.
Ryan's that guy that act like a pirate the whole time.
Hey.
So this
He's
happened.
memorable.
So this happened August 3rd, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce the name of that woman or the city in Brazil, but it was in Brazil. She was a mother of one, was reportedly stopped by an elderly woman who asked to read her palm. She accepted, whereupon the street seer told the young woman she only had a few days to live. They then gave her a piece of chocolate as a parting gift, and the chocolate was packaged, and she was hungry, and she ate the chocolate, and that was it.
What? If somebody says, if I go to Scotti and say, Scotti, you're going to die in a few days, here's some chocolate.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I want your damn
dude,
chocolate.
yeah.
This is give me bad news and a little bit like I wouldn't trust that person.
Yeah.
This is a murder, right? Like, there's just no way around it. Like, there's arsenic or there's something in this thing. Like,
For sure.
you don't just give someone, hey, Scotti, you're going to die. And by the way, here's a chocolate bar. And then you eat it. And then you die. And I'm just like cleared of all. I don't know how the Brazilian legal system works. I'm sure.
Right. And she just like, I told her. Like,
Yeah.
told her it was going to happen.
Yeah, like yay.
So apparently, due to her pre-existing conditions, including gastritis and an ulcer, the family didn't initially suspect foul play, but grew suspicious after she mentioned the encounter with the woman who was apparently clairvoyant. I don't know. I mean, I feel bad for this woman, especially that she has a kid. I feel bad for her family, but
That's commitment to your job.
yeah, but
Got to create your own luck sometimes.
But then you kill the repeat business. Or do you go to that, or word of mouth?
You literally killed the people.
Exactly.
Killing the
Or,
business.
or now that the word's out, do people go to that palm reader? It's like, oh shit, she's accurate. Like, hey,
Yeah.
Scotti, you're going to get a promotion. You're going to make $179,000 a year. Like,
I guess if she beats the charges, shit, everybody will probably go into her.
I just
don't take the chocolate.
I mean, when they did her autopsy, they said her deceased body had harbored high concentrations of the pesticides Saluftep and Turbofos. Anyway, it was two pesticides. I mean, like, where does somebody get pesticides in them in high concentrations? Like,
maybe she went to a Brazilian Home Depot.
I don't know, man. It sounds like murder to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, that right there would be like, well, you probably got it from the chocolate. Like, you just wouldn't necessarily have that in your system.
What's that song? Like, back in the streets, they call it murder. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
That's a song.
I think your rendition of it was just that
I don't
bad.
want to get claimed on the YouTubes. But would you guys ever go to a palm reader? Or psychic or anyone of that nature?
When growing up, this lady across the street claimed she read palms. And so I let her read mine, like, for shits and giggles.
Were you molested by this lady?
No.
Okay.
No, she would have never caught me. Anyways. So she's reading my palm and she's saying like generic shit. I don't even know what she was saying. I was like, do you see sports in there? And she was like, oh, yeah, I do see sports in there. I'm like, that's lying, bitch. Like,
well, now you do a shitty podcast with the two of us.
Yeah, but I had to bring it up. She's like, oh, yeah, I do see that. Like, what? It was like hiding over here or something. Like, come on now.
Oh, yeah. It's like, is there a girl named Jennifer? Yes, there is. She doesn't like you.
Yeah, she could have guessed that.
Yeah,
easily, yeah.
Easily. Ryan, would you go to the palm reader?
I don't believe in those.
I wouldn't pay for it.
You were around with the mystics and the dark arts and the ancients
and the gypsies and stuff.
Civilizations and stuff like that. You know, like you were around since the dawn of time. There's been a lot of witchcraft going on.
Never a believer of those things. I don't know. I guess some of it is true, but I've never paid money or I haven't even gone to one of those machines. What they call Zoltan or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't either.
You put the money in and it gives you the card. A couple of my friends, we went down to Outer Banks. A couple of my friends did that. And the card was whatever. It had a bunch of whatever on there. And I don't think any of it was really true to them or has happened to them. They haven't mentioned anything, but I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Those folks are they're almost like panhandlers, except they'll tell you something so you think you're getting something for the money that you're giving them. So
as a person that bullshits a lot, it's easy to bullshit someone, especially if you like kind of read them a little bit in that first couple of minutes. You can tell where they want to go and what they want to do. I mean, maybe this is my calling. Maybe I missed it.
You could be like that lady.
Miss Cleo?
No, the lady that killed her.
Giving people chocolate.
Customer.
Murdering people by chocolate. I'll just get alcohol poisoning with you. We just drink a bunch of beers.
If you drove, you could be like, oh, you're going to be in a car accident soon. And you chase them and like run them off the road.
Just crash into a tree. Yeah. I have a family friend, and I went to a trip with her and her husband and my wife, and they went to a palm reader. And I think they were spending like $75 a reading.
Jeez.
I mean, maybe if it was like $3 at the county fair or some shit like that, but I'm not paying $75 for that shit.
I wouldn't pay anything. If you want to do it for free, I'll entertain you, but no, I'm not paying for that.
Can we take you to like a crazy old gypsy lady?
Yeah.
If y'all pay for it.
In Brazil?
Yeah, I'm not taking any food from her, but yeah.
I was trying to hit the That Might Be Russians for whatever reason. It didn't work.
We haven't hit that.
Not too much. Okay, well, you're not going to eat food? What if she offered you, what's that drink in the Brazil, their official drink? It's like Caparina? The Caparina?
I don't know.
Someone out there listening knows what it is. But yeah, or maybe some cachaça. That's a nice South American drink there. You wouldn't drink that?
No.
What if it was in a sealed bottle?
Was this chocolate and sealed?
Yeah, it was
in a wrapper.
It was in a wrapper. It wasn't like It wasn't pocket chocolate. It wasn't
not after hearing this story. I'm good.
It wasn't like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where Charlie's just walking around with spaghetti in a plastic bag in his pants.
I had speaking of Philadelphia, when we had a chance of winning this weekend, I had a draft ready to go. Maybe it's not always sunny in Philadelphia. They fucking came back and beat us.
Ryan, I think he needs a card.
I think I've already given him a red card.
Oh,
you gave me a yellow.
Oh, yellow. There you go.
Yeah.
We need someone to start enforcing these cards, like the VAR, which I won't even get into that from the Premier League over the weekend. Where Ryan, your Reds, your Liverpool team was screwed on the VAR.
Damn it!
I'm sure you've been thoroughly involved in the Premier League.
How's my team doing?
I don't even know who your team is.
Name the popular ones.
Tottenham,
No.
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Oh yeah, Arsenal's good. Yeah. They shit out their Champions League match today. Though I forget who they were playing, but they should. I think it was Galatasaray from Turkey. They shit the bed in that one, but
sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. Well, so don't take chocolate off crazy ladies on the street in Brazil saying that you're going to die. Speaking of dying, so we talk about two things on the show a lot: airplanes, and we talk about shit a lot. And this involves an airplane, but maybe it involves shit because, some people say you void yourself when you croak. That's an awkward transition.
Some people say that.
Some people say.
Okay.
Some people say. There was a lady that was on a flight from Doha, Qatar to Sydney, Australia, and she was sitting next to a woman on this flight that passed away. It was a Qatar Airways flight. It was a 14-hour flight from Doha to Sydney.
Jesus.
Apparently, she started making a weird noise. They alerted the crew that checked on the woman. Apparently, they didn't really do anything at first? She looked like she was sleeping. They called for more staff to come in with an oxygen mask, and then they just left allegedly. And the woman says you could see that she wasn't breathing. They later came back and apparently moved her and put like a blanket or something like that over her and moved her to another spot of the plane. What do you do if you're flying on a plane, or maybe you're on a train like Amtrak, or I don't know, it could be a subway. Maybe it's a city bus. What do you do if the person next to you just croaks and you're sitting there? What do you do?
Probably fucking yelling. Is there a doctor in the bus? Well, probably not. Probably you don't have a lot of doctors that ride buses, but I don't know.
Probably not.
Do you know, call 911 and hope somebody maybe knows CPR or something?
Well, she's on a plane. You can't call 911 at 30,000
Oh,
feet.
if it's on a plane, then kind of shit out of luck, I guess. I mean, what can you do?
So they kind of left her unattended for a while there, right?
Yeah, she was gonna her family may have a case against Qatar Airways.
Yeah, but I know if I'm sitting beside her, we talked about that couple that got the refund for the farting dog. I'm definitely getting a refund for that. Yeah.
Come on, man.
You just leave her.
What was that movie?
But it seems like they weren't like they could have tried. It seems like they weren't putting 100% effort into saving her life.
What was that movie where you're in college and your roommate dies, you get straight A's?
Is it Urban Legend? No.
Was Pauly Shore in that movie? Oh man, I somebody Google that real quick if you don't mind. Your roommate dies, you get straight A's. Right? This is about your age when you're coming up. I mean, it's not even an old joke.
I can't. I know the movie. I know what you're talking about. It's a college setting, right?
Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you got to get a free flight at that point, right? At least some free peanuts.
Dead Man on Campus?
Yeah, Dead Man on Campus. Okay. There he is. Is Pauly Shore in that movie?
Let's see.
I want to hear his star-studded cast.
He is not that I'm seeing.
Oh, okay.
Tom Everett Scott.
Yeah.
Who the fuck
Mark
is that?
Paul.
He was on remember that movie, That Thing You Do?
Yeah, he was on that.
He was in that movie. That's probably the biggest one he's on.
You'd recognize him if you've seen him.
Yeah.
It's got Zach from Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
Poppy Montgomery.
Don't know.
It's got the girl from the band camp girl from American Pie.
Allison
that
Hannigan.
one time at band camp?
Yeah.
Is that the one that's like actually cute if she like put herself together?
She was on How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that show.
Okay.
I wanted to take my life in the parking lot before I watched that show.
Jason Segel's in it. He must not have a big role. I don't know.
Okay, so Dead Man on Campus. So yeah, so if the person on the flight croaks to you, what do you croaks next to you? What do you expect to get? I mean, obviously you want your flight paid for, Scotty. Are you expecting like first class vouchers to Bora Bora? Like what do you want?
No. Just the money I paid on the ticket. That's all. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't actually ask for that, but I feel like I could ask for that.
So we go on the plane because you've never flown.
Right.
And of the three of us, I mean, let's face it, I'm probably going to keel over at any second. So we're on the plane. I croak next to you. All you want is your flight paid for? You don't want any drinks? You don't want like a 5-star
I'm going to be mad
vacation?
at you. I'm like, you couldn't wait till like the end of the vacation to the end of the vacation to do this?
Well, I'll probably die coming back.
Or the flight back? Okay.
Yeah, just from the amount of substances and alcohol in my system and pizza
I'll shed a tear, but I'll be like, he died happy.
There we go. Just open the door and push me out. Just go with God. Yeah.
I don't think it's that simple.
Probably not. Just put me in the cargo bay.
Yeah, they're not putting us on that aisle by the door.
Yeah. Oh, the emergency. Yeah. No, I never signed up for that. Well, I'm never sitting back there.
That's
anyway.
all right. I'm sorry. He's always in first class or business class at worst.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll take this a step further. So, I was looking at the rundown yesterday on Barstool. Dave Portnoy had went on the rant about he was on a first class flight, and there was a woman that had a child on the flight, and the child, she did not purchase a seat in first class with this child, and the child was sitting on this woman's lap the entire time. Now, the child had obviously its bag and all this stuff, and it's throwing toys and snacks, and she's like, "Oh, I hope my child behaves on this flight." And Dave was like incredulous because he was like, it's first class. You buy another seat. He's like, I'm not sitting in the back with the poors. The poors, he goes, I don't care what you do back there. He goes, but you can afford a first class seat, you could probably afford two. What are your thoughts on that one then? If you're flying and there's like an infant, let's say it's like a year old. I don't know what the cutoff for infant is. Let's say it's a year old sitting on mom's lap. You're in first class. Do you expect that child to have its own seat?
Can they even have their own seat at that age?
Yeah,
why not?
Who's that affecting though? It not having his own seat.
It's affecting me. I don't want to like deal with your brat like sitting there crying.
Yeah, but why is it then? If it bought it his own seat, then it'd still be there.
Yeah, but if you bought the own seat, and, first class, Scotty is 2x2, rows.
Regardless if it's in the mom's lap or in a seat, it's still a baby.
But it's not. Yeah, you're still dealing with the crying and all that stuff.
So what's the difference?
It's not encroaching upon me. It's like if you go to a football game and like
it can't walk. What do you mean?
But all the stuff that comes in the diaper bag and this and that. Well, if it poops itself.
I know, but what I'm saying is, if you're saying buy it its own seat, it's still going to be there with all that stuff.
Yeah, but it's got
so it
all
doesn't make
that
a difference.
Room. It's the seat next to it. Like if I have a baby here and Ryan's not here, I can take that baby and set it right there, or all the stuff and set it right there.
I don't know. I don't think it's that serious. If it was like a 4 or 5-year-old that was up running around, maybe. But
I'd be pissed. I'm more pissed that it's a baby. A 4 or 5-year-old, I expect you to have a seat. I expect you to sit
but
down.
if they didn't have a seat.
Yeah.
If you're a 4 or 5-year-old, then. But if it's a baby, I don't think it really makes a difference.
It should be like who was it, Pac-Man Jones? That like
at the airport.
At the airport, but he said he bought like in that whole thing where he got arrested last time off of a plane. So I think he's been arrested several times.
I thought you were talking about the fight. When he got in the fight.
No. There was one. Remember the story?
You start swinging on babies. Yeah.
Old school discipline.
No, remember, I'm just saying buying an extra seat. You know that the one where he got thrown off the flight because the power outlet wasn't working on the seat because he wanted to charge up his phone or his tablet.
I
don't remember the story. I remember something happening.
Yeah, but that was the case where he got mad and maybe said the wrong thing to the air attendant, to the flight attendants, and he got thrown off the plane. But he said he had bought an extra seat so he could do his work and do what he needed to do. So I was just saying that's maybe what Leon's alluding to. Like if you have a baby, like just buy an extra seat because it's just you don't need that room just to deal with the baby.
I just want my space. I just want my space.
I get that.
If you're on a plane, you should have your own seat. I don't think that's too much to ask. If you're at a football game, you should have your own seat. Baseball, whatever, have your own seat. If you're in attendance, you have your own seat.
I just think if you're in first class, like it's almost like you probably could afford to buy a second seat. I know they're expensive, but like you're saying, it's another human being that you're traveling with. So
I don't know. I think some of the people in first class probably save up all year for that one ticket.
Yeah, that could be the case too.
That's very true as well. Then you make arrangements. You buy a second seat and you put that kid back with the pores,
Okay.
as Dave says. Which Dave brought up a good point. The last rows of the plane, he said, should be reserved for like families. Just put them all in the back. And I was like, you know what? That's a fucking brilliant idea. I'd be game for that.
My idea is this: is that a couple of us live in apartments. Me and Leon, and
I'm basically in an apartment. So.
Okay, but like in an apartment complex, I think one side of the apartment complex should be reserved for people that have kids.
Ooh.
Okay.
That are under the age. Where are you thinking?
I don't know. I was waiting to see what you that might be racist.
I don't want them over here.
For the blacks and the poors. No, one side should be like for children that are like under the age of, say, 12 or 13. If the majority of your kids are under the age of 12 or to say under, not a teenager, 12 and under, you should have your side of the complex. So if your kids want to be loud and yelling, and y'all all got kids, so y'all understand, what happens. Like I had a kid that lived above me for the last year. And this kid, some days, like he was like he couldn't control himself, running, stumping, like he just had a bunch of energy. He's like 5 or 6 years old. Where I just, where it was just like annoying. It was like, man, why don't they just separate the families, and like people that are single or couples that don't have kids, let them have their own side where it's nice and quiet.
It's not a bad idea.
I'm just saying.
I like that idea. Actually,
would you build a wall like the walls in Northern Ireland?
I built one like the Berlin Wall. I think the Germans did.
You had the Brandenburg Gate you had to go through.
Exactly.
I'm just going to the clubhouse. No, your baby cannot come through here.
No, you cannot.
Let me see your papers.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, it should have like, non-children apartment complexes. Like they have senior ones, people that just want to have no kids, just want to be quiet, go home and not have to worry about children.
I like the idea, but let's say you move in, a couple moves in with no kids, and then they get pregnant.
Eviction notice.
They got 9 months to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Eviction notice.
That is the rule.
Yeah. Like, what about the senior stuff? I mean, like, Ryan, I'm sure you live in a senior community. Can I just move in? Can I move into your place and be a roommate if you're in a senior community?
Yeah, how does that work?
Well, I don't know. I know y'all asking me like I'm.
Back when I was apartment searching, I would finally find like a nice area, decent price, and I go in there, always senior living.
You should have been like Kramer in that episode of Seinfeld when he moves into Del Boca Vista and he's like running for condo president. He's dominating all the old people in shuffleboard. That would have been you, Scott. You could have got some dates down there.
You could just brought an older family member and be like, hey, can you just come along to the when we get this apartment? And, we'll just say that you're living here, but you're really not. Just be on the lease.
Just right up to JJ's.
There you go. Go to JJ's.
Can you sneak me in?
Put your Uncle Jericho on the lease there, and
Jericho.
There you go.
Yeah,
you look like you would have an Uncle Jericho.
There's a nice senior living complex across from our palatial studios here.
Yeah,
isn't there? What is it called? It's one. Oh, I don't want to say the name.
Yeah,
of it, but there is one near us. So
Is that the one that we're talking about?
Yeah. It might be the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's
the one
that's in the bar
that feeds JJ's.
Yeah. So there you go, and that's also where Scotty gets his dates.
Yeah. So Scotty's going tonight after the show.
Yeah. Banging to electric, new hip to electric boogaloo.
9 o'clock's their bedtime, so I don't know.
There we go.
I don't know, man.
And all right, one last one before we get out of here. Scotty, you had sent over a story that I actually just deleted out of my email somehow. It was about the woman with the thong.
What?
The woman that was suing with the wedgie.
Does she have a thong? I didn't read the whole story.
Well, I mean, a wedgie is essentially a unasked for thong.
Yeah, so this woman alleged that the Disney water slide caused a dangerous wedgie that left her with severe injuries. She's trying to get more than $50,000 in damages. And she's saying she had severe lacerations in a private area. I'll just leave it at that. And internal organ damage.
God damn.
Yeah.
Internal.
Well, you know what, though? I'm no anatomy professor. But yeah, I can see where there's some internal damage there.
How far did the thong go up her?
Leon had the thong in there.
Well, it became a thong once it wedgied.
The name of the ride is Typhoon Lagoon. So it's kind of like if you're on a water slide called the Typhoon Lagoon, you might want to cover your parts up. I don't know.
Typhoon Lagoon sounds like somebody that our suspended friend took out to lunch one day.
It was a buffet, probably.
Yeah. But seriously, look.
No, wait, here we go. The slide caused her clothing to be painfully forced between her legs and for water to be violently forced inside her.
What did she open her butt cheeks as she was going down the damn ride?
Maybe.
I mean, how does
water violently get pushed inside you?
Right. That's why I don't get on these rides.
That's why you don't get on it?
I don't want anybody's
he doesn't want to be violated by the ride.
Anybody's bloody. You know that ass was bleeding, like bloody fecal matter going down the slide there. Like
it said she started experiencing severe pain internally, and when she stood up, blood began rushing from between her legs. She was wearing a one-piece swimsuit.
Oh, so she probably had like one of those mom like swimsuits, trying to be modest, and then it made her unmodest.
I'm thinking that's probably what we're looking at here.
See, that's why, ladies, when you go to the pool, you go to the beach, just wear the thong, unless you shouldn't. Then don't. But if you can, just wear the thong. You won't have to worry about it.
So this ride sends riders down a 5-story drop at nearly 40 miles per hour.
Jesus,
that sounds dangerous.
Yeah, she shouldn't have been on this ride.
It's like a pressure washer going through your ass.
How old was she?
I don't think it
was. She's not dead.
Well,
she didn't eat the candy.
She'll never be the same though.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was her 30th birthday celebration.
Oh, so she was young.
By the way, you hear him say young. Yeah. 30 is young.
I mean, 30 is young to me.
I think it's young to all of us, really.
Yeah.
Well, on that unfortunate note, hopefully, Scotty, when you get in the tub tonight, you don't have any
no violent water entering me.
Yeah.
Vaginal bleeding from water damage.
Jesus Christ! Put that on a commercial in Lifetime.
Competing theme parks.
All right. How do you find this monstrosity online?
Let's not do this at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
Threads.
That's I always forget one.
Don't forget
Underscore Let's Not Do This on X/Twitter. And more importantly, the YouTube, which you'll be watching on this. Please subscribe.
Smash that subscribe button. Be a friend. Tell a friend.
Yes.
And cover your ass cheeks.
No thongs. No thongs.